Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a book haul. I am very excited to share the books that I have recently purchased with you all. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. As I said in my introduction, this is a book haul video. I am very excited to share with you guys the books that I've recently gotten. I've actually purchased books from two different stores, one of them being a used bookstore. And honestly, a couple of the books that I got from there definitely looked new. So now that everything's mixed together, I genuinely am not 100% sure which ones I got from the used bookstore. A couple of them I could tell, but there was some that I bought that looked brand new, which is pretty awesome. This on my shirt, it's not an artistic design choice. It is water that I spilled all over myself. 2 seconds, it's even like at the bottom of my shirt. Like I spilled all over the front of myself. Like 2 seconds before I was gonna start filming, and I was like, I don't have the energy to change. Like, it's water, it is what it is, it's life. We all spill things all over ourselves. So that's why my shirt looks the way that it does. I thought I would share that with you all. I'm also filming with the windows open, so if we start hearing someone mow their grass, I apologize, but it's the middle of the summer and it's gorgeous outside and it's like really nice out, and so I'm anticipating my neighbors will be cutting their lawn. Let's get into the book haul. That's what you all are here to see. This first book is something I've definitely heard talked about. I feel like more so on Instagram. I think I've seen a couple of the gals that I follow have read this recently and thought it was really good. And that is The Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I've never read the back cover or anything, and I haven't really honestly gone into details looking at posts that I've seen on Instagram about this book, but I feel like people have said that they enjoyed it and rated it pretty well, so was interested enough to pick this one up. I also think the cover's really pretty. Speaking of pretty covers, that was kind of the reasoning behind purchasing this next book, and I think I got this one from the used bookstore, but it looks really like pretty much brand new, and that is The Paper Girls of Paris. I believe this is a young adult actually, and I think it's gonna kind of have like a historical fiction vibe to it, but the cover was just so beautiful. Like, oh, I love that. It's definitely giving me either World War I, World War II vibes though. So I think it's going to be like a historical fiction, but I guess maybe told from like a younger teenager's perspective. So certainly interested to check this one out. Next, we have a book that I purchased. I'm so glad that what happened with this one ended up happening. So this book was made into a series on Netflix, and I was actually looking through Netflix a couple weeks back trying to figure out something to watch and I saw this show, and like the preview started playing on Netflix and it looked really good, and I almost started it, but I ended up not, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because then a couple days later I went to the bookstore and I saw that it's a book, and I'm so glad that I didn't watch the show, because I definitely want to read the book first and then watch the show, and that's Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Vaughan. I didn't know anything about this being a book. The preview of the show that I saw looked really, really intriguing. And so I'm very, very curious to read this. And the line on the front says, "You want to believe your husband. She wants to destroy him." So that's really interesting. So I am very intrigued to read this. I don't know when I'll get to this, to be honest. I haven't been watching a ton of TV just because I've been watching more, reading more books, and just going out more because it's nice out. So I'm kind of thinking I might save this until the fall, because there are a couple of shows that are releasing soon. I know the third season of Never Have I Ever is coming out soon. I'm obsessed with that show, so I have to watch it right away. I know She-Hulk is coming out. I'm really into all the Marvel stuff, so I think I might end up waiting until the fall to read this. That way I could watch the show in the fall. Next, we have a book that I purchased for a combination of the fact that I really was intrigued by the cover, I also liked the title, and then it is part of Reese Witherspoon's book club. I've definitely read several books that have been on her book club. I feel like none of them have been disappointing to me. I think that all the books I've read that have had her little book club like seal on them have been really good. So I think that now when I see a book, if it has her book club logo on it or seal on it, it kind of in a way makes me more intrigued to pick it up. And this one is called The Last Mrs. Parrish. I just thought that cover was really pretty, and the title is really intriguing. The Last Mrs. Parrish. What happened to the one before her, or maybe the multiple before her? Who knows? So definitely was intrigued to pick this one up. The next book that we are going to talk about is another, what I believe is going to be another historical fiction. This is one of the ones that I definitely picked up at the used bookstore, but again, it is like, it looks brand new. Like it looks like nobody read it. So I feel like I did really well at the used bookstore. And this one is called The War Nurse. So obviously we can see someone in a nurse's uniform. We see the Eiffel Tower in the background. So it's going to take place in Paris, either World War I or World War II, I'm assuming. And yeah, I'm really interested to read this. It's funny because when I had first seen the book The Nightingale, I kind of thought that maybe it was going to be about a nurse during wartime, just because of my girl Florence Nightingale, but it wasn't. And so I'm like very interested to read a story from a nurse's perspective during wartime. So yeah, definitely want to read that one. And next we have another book that I got from the used bookstore. This one's called, the reason I got this one was for the for the cover. And I think I mentioned in my July reading recap that like a lot of times if I see a book that has something to do with Italy in the title, or looks like the picture in the front cover is from Italy, it makes me want to read it because I want to read every book that takes place in Italy. This is kind of that situation. This book is called Beautiful Ruins. It's by Jess Walter. I don't know. I mean, I feel like that looks like the Amalfi Coast, doesn't it? It could be, who knows? It could also be maybe like southern Spain, or I feel like colorful homes like that aren't as common in Greece, so I'm not thinking it's Greece, but who knows? I could be totally wrong. It could definitely not be Italy, but I was very, very intrigued by how beautiful the cover is, and so I picked that one up. And then next we have a romance that I picked up. I picked this up for a very specific reason. And it's probably not the best reason to pick a book up, but you know, it is what it is. So this is called Meet Me in the Margins. It's by Melissa Ferguson. I basically picked this up because based on the title and the cover, I am assuming the two main characters work in publishing and in some capacity, right? They work with books. And that was kind of the premise behind Book Lovers. And I really enjoyed Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So I really want to read another book that takes place in the literary world. And that's why I picked this one up. After that, we have another book that I got at the used bookstore. This one is a Kristen Hanna book. I touched upon The Nightingale already. That is the only Kristen Hanna book I've ever read. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was incredible. But the gal who lent me that book, which is someone I work with, she said that she's read a couple other Kristen Hanna books and she really hasn't enjoyed them, which was kind of a bummer. But I love The Nightingale enough that I kind of want to, I'm willing to read another one of hers on my own and see if I like it or not. And this one was in such great condition at the used bookstore that I could not resist. And that's The Great Alone. I also think the title is very intriguing for me. I'm thinking this is going to be more of like a self-discovery book, like the main character going on a journey on her own to try and discover herself. That's what I'm hoping for, at least based on the title. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I end up liking it or not. She's a thicker book too, so it'll be a commitment to read that one. The next book is something that I've seen a lot of people talk about on BookTube. It is a series, and I think I ended up picking it up because when I went to the bookstore and I decided to get this, I was kind of feeling like, oh, I really want to read like a romance series right now. I don't know why I was feeling that way. I think I hadn't read a romance series since The Simple Wilds, I think. And I really liked The Simple Wild. And so I was kind of really wanting to like be able to travel and grow with characters through multiple novels. And I think that's why I ended up picking this one up. And it's called The Fine Print. And this actually has a gorgeous cover. It's really, really pretty. I don't know what this is about at all, but I feel like it's very popular and I feel like a lot of people really like it. I'm assuming the series is called the Dreamland Billionaires series because that's what it says up top, but I could be totally wrong. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's considered a romance. It's an adult romance. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really hoping to like it enough that I want to like immediately go into the rest of the series. I don't know how many books the series is. I wonder if it says it in the front. Like, I don't know if this is like a series of 2 or 3 books or if this is like a series of a lot of books. And it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it says back here. So I'll have to look into more detail about how many books are in this series. Next, we have another book I got at the used bookstore. I knew this one was made into a movie. I never saw the movie. My friend that I went with to the bookstore said that she had read it and that it was really good. So that was enough to make me want to pick it up. And that's The Girl on the Train. Yeah, I don't know anything about this. I'm thinking it's going to be some type of a thriller style book. Like the girl's trapped on the train, but like maybe somebody's coming after her. I feel like maybe I'm thinking that because I know that there's like some Taylor Lautner movie where he's on a train, isn't there? And I don't know that I ever fully watched the movie, but I'm like remembering that when I'm thinking of this. So we'll see what this ends up being about. And okay, we have 2 more left. So this one here, I feel like Colleen Hoover just messes with me and my emotions. I feel like right when I'm ready to kind of say, you know, I think I'm just gonna not read any Colleen Hoover for a while. I'm just not gonna go there for a while. She sucks me in once again. I read Verity. I did not like it very much at all. I would say it's probably my least favorite Colleen Hoover book that I've read. But then right after that, well, not right after that, but the next Colleen Hoover book I read was Ugly Love. And I loved Ugly Love. I gave it 5 stars. So that made me want to read more. And I read like maybe like 2 or 3 very mediocre, to me, mediocre books of hers. Not in a row, but just like over the course of a few months. And I was kind of like, these have all kind of been like 3, 3.5, 4 stars, but like maybe I was rating a 4-star a little too high. And so I was kind of ready to say I'm going to take a nice long break from Colleen Hoover. And then earlier this month, and I'm not going to say the name of the book because I think this is going to post before my August recap. Earlier this month, I read another Colleen Hoover and I friggin' loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it was another 5-star read. So because of that, I picked up another Colleen Hoover book. This one is called Hopeless. You know, I know Colleen Hoover has a couple of series. I've never read any of her books that are series. I've only ever read her standalones. Although It Ends With Us is becoming a series. I know the second one is coming out, I don't know, probably in the next couple of months. So, and that was one of the ones that was kind of mediocre for me. I mean, I think I gave it 4 stars, but it was just, but I think I'm interested enough to pick up the sequel. I don't know if this one, if Hopeless is a series. I want to say I feel like it is. Like, I felt like when I picked this one up, there was like others that the cover looked very similar. So I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be a series. We'll see. I don't know. I'm hoping that I like it. And then if it is a series, it makes me want to read the rest of the series. But who knows? I never know what I'm in for Colleen Hoover books. I never know if I'm going to like it. I never know if I'm not going to like it. But I mean, she's doing something right because I keep reading them. So, and then the last book that I have to share with you all is one that I purchased because I read another book by this author and I liked it. This is Love and Luck by Jenna Evans Welsh. I read Love and Gelato. I was talking about that earlier with regards to book titles or covers related to Italy. And I really liked Love and Gelato. It's a young adult romance and I enjoyed it. And so it made me want to pick up another one of Jenna Evans Welch's books. So I picked up Love and Luck. I'm assuming this one's going to take place in Ireland. I don't know if this takes place in the summertime like the last one did. And so part of me kind of wants to like dive into it just in case it is like a summer romance, but who knows when I'm going to get to it. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. I'm trying to work my way through my August TBR, and actually I was doing really well in the beginning with it. But I've kind of strayed from my TBR with the book I'm currently reading. So who knows if I'll bop back into my TBR, if I'll just kind of like go where the wind takes me from here. But I'm very excited about all the books that I purchased. I'm just trying to pick up this pile over here. I love a bunch of the titles. I love a bunch of the covers. I am very intrigued by a few of them. There are some that I definitely want to get to sooner. Look at this file. There's definitely some I want to get to sooner rather than later. So we'll see what happens. But I hadn't done a book haul in a while, definitely not one this size. And because I got a lot of these books from a used bookstore, they were way cheaper than buying them from just your average bookstore. So I think I'm going to try to have this be the last book haul that I do for the rest of the year. Like I really want to focus on reading books that I have. There are a couple of new releases coming out over the next few months that I definitely want to get. And I will let myself get those. But I want to focus on reading the books that I have. So I'm thinking this is going to be my last book haul of the year, and then maybe like beginning of January, I'll treat myself to a nice book haul. So we'll see. But if you've read any of the books that I have in this pile here, don't hesitate to give me your spoiler-free thoughts down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.